Questions for Dr. Krauss. Yeah, you mentioned a lot that you really love the scientific process, you love the evidence. So far, the only person to present any studies, expertise isn't transferable. So do you have any studies like Michael presented to actually make the case that secularism is a net positive to society over Christianity?
Here's the deal. The great thing about science is I don't have to rely. The wonderful thing about science is it takes us away from the wisdom of ancient books to the willingness to look around the world yourself and do empirical studies and make tests. And hold on, the science that I gave you is the evidence of the world around you. You don't need to go and look in a book to look around you at the world you live in. That's my point. You don't need to look at the Bible, and you don't need to look at earlier studies. You have to ask yourself the question, is the world you live in, which is based on a scientific, secular view of the world, such a bad world to live in? And I would say it isn't. And you don't need a book to do that. That's evidence. That's science. You can do the experiment yourself. That's the great thing about science. It puts us all on the same framework. There's no authorities. I don't care what some authority says. If you have just as much a right to look around the world and ask questions and determine conclusions based on what you see and tests you perform. And you can ask yourself the following question. Is the secular society in which you and I live, is a society in which you and I live a society that is better than a society if you look around the world that are theocracies, whether it's Christianity or not?
Evidence you have for that, because you've just made the case that it's parasitic.
What's parasitic?
You've just said everything that came out of Christianity that you've taken from Christianity, which is parasitic, and then you said we've made this great secular society, but you've stolen and borrowed all these values from Christianity.
No.
You haven't demonstrated any studies. You haven't demonstrated any net positives. You've just asserted again.
I guess I'm arguing that I'm a simple guy. I'm just a scientist, and I just argue that I look around. I look at what's come. I study history, by the way, and I look around and I look at how the world has evolved. And I'd rather live in the world today in a secular society, which, like it or not, we live in a secular society. We do because, in fact, anyway, it doesn't matter. If you don't think we live in a secular society, we probably disagree about so much else. It's probably not worth having a conversation.